Thank you, Madam Chairperson. Should I start with you? Yes. I like the fact that part of my CV involves being a wife. I think there are a few other things I could have put instead of that, but thank you. National Chairperson, Mrs. Walda Lawrence, especially Ms. Cheryl Sampson, life member. I think on whose intervention that I am here, pulled out of my garden. I no longer practice, I'm a gardener now. All other protocols observed. In all the equalities and inequalities that have existed, whether we've liked it or not, when it has come to disease and illness, we are sometimes very equal with our male counterparts. And now that we live in a hectic, as the program says, a hectic lifestyle, we have incurred certain illnesses and diseases upon ourselves, and that is simply because our bodies have had to adjust and go through certain changes that we may not have experienced when we did not have the type of lifestyle we have. And one thing I want to allude to this afternoon, before I come down to all the things that we can do, is what is happening now with our bodies in terms of a little hormone, because as you all know, our bodies function, flesh, blood, bones, and little hormones. There's a little hormone within our body that is called insulin. And everybody here has heard about insulin because they've had a grandmother or an auntie or an uncle who had to inject themselves with insulin because they had diabetes. And that's basically what we all mostly know about insulin. But did you know that insulin is responsible for placing the food that we eat into the cells of the body, meaning the muscle, meaning the fat cells, meaning the liver? So what has been happening with the hecticness and the stress that we have been having in our lives these days is that we're having what is called insulin resistance. And insulin resistance is setting us up for chronic diseases. Only last week I saw a report which says that the Caribbean per population has one of the highest incidences of chronic diseases. So let's see what happens here. So we eat, we have a lovely meal, and the food is digested. Everybody went to that part in primary school where the food digests and it goes into the bloodstream, and then it goes to the cells. But what happens? When insulin resistance exists, the food is not capable of getting into those cells, be it muscle, be it liver, be it wherever. So what happens is we have an increase of blood sugar in our bloodstream. The pancreas is going to over-secrete again because they want that. The food is no good in the bloodstream. It needs to get into the cells. So there's going to be an increase in production of more insulin so that food can get into the bloodstream. What happens for the liver, for example? When it cannot get into the liver, what happens? The liver produces its own fats, and the liver becomes what is called a fatty liver. A fatty liver is not the greatest functional liver. So there again, we get set up again because the liver is not functioning to deal with glucose. But what it does, it creates a lot of bad cholesterol, and it reduces the production of good cholesterol. So if I'm saying that, think right away. Two diseases that we have, we can look at right away. We're seeing diabetes. We're going to be more prone to diabetes. More fat in the bloodstream. What are we getting here? Cardiovascular disease, heart disease, high blood pressure. Yes? And what else are we setting ourselves up for? Cancers. Because with fat, it has been shown, you know, we thought fat was always about storing energy. We know now that fat produces hormones. And so it creates an imbalance in hormones within our bodies, and it sets us up for cancers, particularly female cancers. Breast, endometrial, not cervical, but breast and endometrial particularly. because it sets us apart for colorectal cancer. So here I have presented this picture to you, and it's basically a doom and gloom picture. But as I say, you have to decide which fete you're going to. Are you going to listen to the calypso that says, do what you want with me? Or you're going to listen to the one say, I'll fight him back? What are we going to do? We're here at International Women's Day. We've all heard today we have to gird our waist, we have to be strong, we have to fight, so we have to fight. So it means that we know, knowing what can happen to our bodies because of the increased stress, knowing what can happen to our bodies because we no longer get to exercise. Do you remember when your mother, or mother for me, for a lot of you, be grandmothers, they got exercise through work. They didn't have washing machines, so they got exercise, they scrubbed clothes. But we don't get exercise through work. So one of the first things we need to look at is exercise. And I want to give somebody out there some encouragement. Because most times when I speak to people about losing weight, it seems so hopeless. And let's look at it. If you're 150 pounds and you lose 5 pounds, it shows. Everyone says, oh, you look great. Ooh. But if you're 200 pounds, does 5 pounds show on you? No. So there you might be a 200 pounder and you have been exercising, you've been dieting, you've lost 5 pounds, but nobody sees it. And so it deflates you. So let me give you one bit of encouragement. Just losing 5%. 5%. So if you're 200 pounds, 5% would take us to what, 10 pounds? Just losing 10 pounds is going to improve your metabolic profile, meaning you're going to have less insulin resistance and more insulin sensitivity, meaning the cells are going to be better able to utilize the glucose or the food that you put into your body. So exercise is very important. Now, also another problem that it helps is a lot of young women, I don't know how many in this room, everybody's complaining about polycystic ovaries these days. Just losing 5% of your body weight is going to help to correct your problem. It helps food to enter into the cells. So as such, once you start utilizing, you start burning, and just the act of exercising does that. Good. So we have to exercise. Now, what sort of exercise and how much exercise do we need? 30 minutes, 5 days a week, 150 minutes of exercise a week. That is the recommendation. So if I can't get in 30 minutes, 5 days a week, can I settle for 20? Yes, you can. And if you can't do 20 minutes all at once because you get up in the morning, you have the children to send to school, blah, 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 blah. Why not start off with 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes in the evening, break it up. It doesn't matter. You break it up and you get it. Do you need to go to the gym? No. You can exercise at home. You have steps, walk up and down. You don't want to walk, run. Okay? Find exercise within your home and make it count. So exercise is important. The other thing with exercising, if you can't do it on your own, find a companion. Find a friend. Whether it's your husband, your wife, your boyfriend, your mother, whoever. Find a companion. I have found that as women, sometimes we need cheerleaders. So find a cheerleader. You know, this is a cheerleader. Don't find somebody who's going to pull you down. You know, you have some friends, they love you to death, but they're always telling you how fat you are. And if you lose 5 pounds, they still can't tell you that you're looking good. No, you want a cheerleader. So exercise is important. And remember, you'll get a side effect of the exercise. You're going to look good. For all the women who want to look sexy and whatever, you're going to look good. Your waistline going to go in. Because right now, we're asking women to have a waistline of under 30. We want women to have a waistline of under 30. A waistline of over 30 sets you up for what is called visceral fat, fat around your organs. Fat around your organs is different to fat under your skin. Fat around your organs is the fat that produces the hormones. I see some people looking at me as if, oh boy, too much of me. No, you can do it. You know, and this has nothing to do with there's some very thin people who have big waistlines, huh? If there are people in here who sew, they know that. There's some thin people with big waistlines. So that is it on exercise. So what can we do in terms of eating now? How do we help ourselves via our food? Cut down on your calories. Calories need to be cut down on. And then, you know, there's a thing I usually call, when I eat certain foods, I get so angry with myself, I say, oh my God, I'm eating empty calories. And empty calories are what I refer to as, you know, the feel-good foods that are not necessarily feeling good on your body. You know, like the corn curls and the chips and the pastry, the things that you like, they sweeten your mouth. But you know, they're empty calories. So basically, you have to try and get a balanced diet. And you know the good thing about school now, as opposed to when I went to school, everybody knows that chart. With a balanced diet and you eat something from each group and I didn't have that chart when I was growing up. I'm very jealous that I didn't have that chart. So eat a balanced diet. Bear in mind, you need to have protein in your diet. Basically, most of us eat too much of carbs. Most of us eat too much of carbs. When you look at the average Guyanese plate, is a mountain of rice and some stew on top. Cut down on the rice. Make sure your plate looks like a rainbow. Put some color in it. Oh gosh, put some color, some orange, pumpkin, some green, some lettuce. Think about it. Think about, you know, almost everybody here did scrapbooks in school and they like to color the page and make it look nice. Do the same thing with your plate. Make your plate look colorful and keep your calories at bay. I want to talk about one thing, one trend in foods that I'm seeing a lot. Everybody's making smoothies. We live in smoothie times. Everybody's telling me, oh, what do you have for breakfast? Oh, I had a smoothie. And I would say, so what did you have in your smoothie? And when I'm analyzing the smoothie, the amount of fruit that goes into the smoothie, that by the time your smoothie hits your stomach, you have an instant sugar rush into your bloodstream. Remember, it is always better to eat fruit and drink water. Because when you eat fruit, you have the benefit of what with the food? With the fruit? Fiber. You have the benefit of fiber. And because of the benefit of fiber, you have a slower absorption of the fruit, of the sugar that's in, it's the same sugar in the fruit, but it's a slower absorption. So you do not have a sugar rush into your bloodstream. If you have a sugar rush into your bloodstream, what happens? Insulin gets a rush too. Insulin makes a rush too. So you're not helping yourself with that. So watch your foods. Remember, you're trying to prevent with diet. Hypertension, diabetes, and cancers. Keeping your weight steady is one of the most important things in keeping yourself healthy. Keeping your weight steady. You know, I'm sure somebody, like my mother, for example, has always been 132 pounds all her year, all her life. My God, it's disgusting. But she's very healthy. She's what, 80? I can't tell you how old she is. She's in her 80s. She's going to kill me if she knows I tell you her age. But she still walks. And that's why I found that, you know, keeping your weight steady is very important. Are you overweight now? Can you get your weight steady? Of course you can. We are fighters. We are fighter women. So we could get our weights down. We could get a steady weight so our body knows this is where we're at. This is how we manage. All right? Now, let's look at some of the social aspects of keeping ourselves healthy. We are not islands. We are not islands. I had an experience with this. I'd gotten some leave and I had some stuff to do, and so I was home by myself and I was so happy I didn't have to go to work and I didn't have to deal with these troublesome people at work, and I was really happy. And then after a few days, I missed people. And I remember getting dressed and going to the stores and speaking to the sales girls. And it hit me at that time, we are social creatures. And part of being healthy is socializing. We must have social networks. Social networks are not necessarily, what's it again? TikTok and Facebook. And we need that human contact where you can look into somebody's eyes and see that you're appreciated. They will give you advice. So surround yourself with some friends, good friends. People who will support you, people who will be there for you, people who will tell you when you're wrong. But even when they tell you when you're wrong, they do it with love and grace. So I know I only have 5 minutes, and I know that after this, that Mrs. Lawrence is going to ask me to come again to give have a longer intercourse with you, because there's so much more to say. And remember, I'm not working, so I'm at home, so I'm so happy to have this social intercourse with you. So before she chases me, I'm going to go. But so remember, so we're looking at diet, we're looking at exercise, and we're looking at social interaction. Those are your basics. There are other things that we can do. But we want to maintain our body in people who did bio and so homeostasis and balance. We're trying to get that balance. So on that note, I end, and I'm going to give you all just one little bit of humor before I go. I'm wondering what's going to happen to me today, because the last time I accepted an invitation from this August body, it was called the WRSM at that time, there was a gentleman in the crowd who I did not know, and the gentleman sent me a note congratulating me on my presentation. So I don't know if I'll get another note today. So I'm waiting to see if I'm going to get another note of proposition. It worked out, we got married, but